when Russell and Sierra sent us an invitation to Liverpool, and we got to go to London, and we had Earth, Wind, and Fire as their wedding band. I thought that's one I probably need to go to. So we took that one in, but we haven't been to any other since.
What was it like?
It was pretty live, and that was his second wedding, so that's my disclaimer. I don't go to their first weddings; I can go to their second ones. But it was pretty awesome. We flew to London, and my wife and I had never been to Europe, so we went there, met Kenny Dichter, the guy I mentioned earlier. We flew. We were in France for a couple of days, but then flew to Liverpool, and he got married in a castle. And they took our cell phones when we're walking in. I'm like, this is getting a little ridiculous. I told Russ, I'm like, come on, this is a little beyond silly here. But Sierra and her beauty and all that she was, and it was really cool to see. It was cool to see Russ so happy. But you want to talk about famous people? Like I was like the B-list there, like I was kind of like, and you got to ask my wife this one, but like the greatest moment was she wanted to sit in his chair on the edge. And me, I wanted to sit like as far from the aisle as possible, get up against. So we moved out of these two seats that were right when they would be coming down the aisle. It was a pretty small ceremony. And then the next day, the only wet photo that was released was them walking by those two chairs. And she's like, you took us out of those two chairs. And I was laughing my tail off because it was just me being me and the moment that it was. But so as a coach, you got to learn to adapt to every situation.
That was Illinois head coach Bret Bielema, and this is the best of season 1 of On the Bench with Mike Hall. That's me. This past summer, we decided to start a new podcast called On the Bench with Mike Hall. And once we had the name down, we had to find a host. Being stuck in a corner by said name, the network gave the assignment to me. Our goal was to have tangential conversations with folks who have made a mark either directly or indirectly around the Big Ten, to better show you their real personality. And we wanted to have a blast doing it, which we did. This first season, which started in early November and comes to a close now in March, included 17 different guests, from current head coaches to current players, legendary announcers to hilarious comedians, plus a handful of Hall of Famers. It was so much fun, our crew decided to do a best of episode, some of our favorite moments from this first season, and that's what this episode is. We'll start off with our first section, the best of stories about run-ins with famous athletes. Now, I'm not going to jump in and out of every single soundbite to introduce the next guest. You'll hear enough of my voice as it is. But I do want you to be aware of who is speaking. So in this next part, you'll hear from Taylor Rooks, PJ Fleck, Dana Rettke, Mike Loxley, Jerry DiNardo, Randy and Jason Sklar, Gene Cady, Sean McDonough, Red Berenson, Tom Izzo, and Jim Jackson. But we'll start off when Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery told me about what it was like recruiting a young player back in the day named Kobe Bryant.
This is funny. One night I had it set up for Coach McLeod to call Kobe. So he calls Kobe. And so the next day I said, hey, Coach, how'd it go? He said, well, he put me on hold for 42 minutes. I said, Coach, did you hang up or did you just stay on the phone? He said, nope. I sat right there. He came back and we finished our conversation.
Holy cow.
Yeah. I said, Coach, that's amazing that you did that. He said, yeah, he said, Coach, hang on a minute. I got to jump. I'll be back. And he came right back 42 minutes later.
When I was in the bubble, I did this segment with players where we would just play heads up.
Sure.
And it was so much fun. And the answer that always sticks out to me is, I was playing with Kemba Walker, and the word that he was trying to get me to guess, or the movie was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, I think. And he goes, like they be on brooms and I was like, Harry Potter?
Oh my God.
Like that was his clue. I'm like, there's so many other, it did work.
There was a lot of people looking at me more in basketball than they were at me in football. I mean, I looked more like a point guard for a college basketball team than I ever did as an NFL or a college wide receiver. So I think there was one point that I was going to walk on at the University of Wisconsin, which is fitting enough. When they first initially built the Kohl Center, went to a game there, got recruited very little, but it was going to be possibly in the decision-making of walk on at University of Wisconsin.
So that would have been Bo Ryan recruiting you, maybe?
That would have been Bo Ryan, and I highly doubt Bo Ryan even knew who I was. I was probably just one of the assistants, just in case the whole bottom falls through, this guy would be the case.
You ever swing so hard that you hurt someone in a match?
Actually, in high school, yeah, I have. This girl, I gave a couple of girls concussions.
No!
Yeah, I felt horrible. I don't even know like how it happened. There was one where I played outside in high school and I just like ripped a ball down the line, and the girl was like standing right there, and I was like, oh my goodness. And I guess she like just came back from a concussion too. Like I went up to her parents and I'm like, I am so sorry. Like I feel horrible.
I had to obviously get the guests to come on, which I'm just going to tell you, that was the most stressful thing I had to deal with. Live TV or live late night shows where, I called Tua Tagovailoa and I say, hey, I want to have you on, so 7 p.m. Eastern, all right? He's like, oh, good, I got you, coach. Well, 6:55 Eastern, no Tua, no calling. 6:57, no Tua. I'm like texting, calls. So I call his mom real quick. Hey, Tua's supposed to be on my show in 2 minutes. And she's like, oh, he's driving home. He thought it was at 7. I was like, yeah, 7 Eastern. And he was on the Central Time Zone. So I had to flip the guests and get it earlier, the one that was going second to go first, and then Tua. So those things really stressed me out. So there was one happy person when June first came and we were able to get our players back on campus, that I was able to take a break from Late Night with Locks.
So here's what I say about the movie. I was there for the first half of that movie. He was only at Notre Dame 2 years, right? Because he went to junior college. And so I wasn't there for when he played in the game and all that. But the accuracy of the part I was there for was very accurate. And it was true. He was a pain in the butt at practice. I mean, I can remember doing an article at Newsday in Long Island. My daughter Kate, who someone asked me about Rudy. It's kind of the same question as you're asking. And I said in the article, in my response, he was a real pain in the, but he was a very good friend. Well, they didn't print the part. He was a very good friend, and Kate loved Rudy, and Terry loves the movie and all that. And all of a sudden, I became a bad guy in my own home because I didn't mean to say it in that way.
Randy was out. I think he was hungover from a night before. It was an early morning class, like 8 or 9 in the morning. And I was sitting with my friend Rachel, and we went down to grab like a handout or something we had to get. And as I'm walking down the steps towards the professor, I hear over my shoulder, "Hey, yo, twin, where was your brother this morning?" I spin around. It's Juwan Howard. I'm like, bro, I had no idea that like, you guys knew. He was so nice. We joked around. We walked across the Diag, which is the center of Michigan's campus. We sort of struck up a friendship. We would say hi to him at games. We studied for the final together in the class. He was a great dude.
Juwan Howard is a bench coach for the Heat at this time. This is like 2018. And he's standing, they're finishing their huddle, and he, at the exact correct moment, this is just kismet, he turns and he sees me, and I'm at the point where I'm the closest to him on the floor as I'm about to start to walk up to my seats. And he sees me, points to me, he points to my kids like, "Is this your family?" I'm like, "Yeah." He blows them a kiss, and then he mouths to me, "Hey, yo, twin, where's your brother?" He does the joke from 27 years earlier.
One time we went to, where was it? Illinois, I think. And, Illinois is not too far from Lafayette, over in Champaign. Great place to go play a game because those fans are great too. Yeah. But they really get after you when you're the opposing coach. That's the way it should be. And I think we got beat like 30 points over there. So there's a place on the highway between, maybe you've eaten there before, they're called the Beef House.
Okay.
And I always had them fix sandwiches, and they fixed the sandwiches. I got the sandwiches. We'd gotten beat, and it had just snowed. There was a lot of snow on the ditch, and I just took the sandwiches all through them in the snowdrift. And we went home and practiced at 3 in the morning. I had a great AD. A lot of athletic directors. George King would let me do that. It was one of those things. It depends on the athletic director. And we'd always win like 6 or 7 in a row after we'd have those practices in the morning.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap is like a thing, and there are T-shirts with it, and it's going to live in East Lansing for decades. Like, when did that fully register for you?
Not long after the game. There was a lot of immediate response to it, and I've had people send me pictures of folks wearing the T-shirt that has the entire call of it. transcribed on the T-shirt. Matter of fact, Bo Garrett, who you know is a producer at Fox, I used to work with at ESPN, was in East Lansing. It was in a restroom where the thing was written. There was some picture, something, which is probably where most of my calls belong, in the bathroom anyway. But with the whole thing transcribed, it was on a poster or something. So, and I have Michigan State people walk up to me in airports and say, that they have one guy played his voicemail for me, and that was when you called him, you got my call, which I think there's got to be some copyright for that, right? Could I probably sue the guy for
there's money for you.
Unlicensed usage of that call?
You were in 12th grade as a 15-year-old?
Yeah. Well, I was lucky. When I was young, my mom's brother, my Uncle Bill, he had been a school teacher. And so he prompted my mother to make sure I learned how to read and write before I went to school, even in kindergarten. So before I went to kindergarten, I could read and write. And so I had a big advantage. So they rushed me right through kindergarten, grade 1. Before I knew it, I was in grade 2. And then I skipped 7th grade. So I ended up in 9th grade when I was 12. and there was a girl sitting beside me. She looked like Marilyn Monroe. She was 18. And I couldn't keep my eyes off her, and I was 12. Like, it was crazy. She got married that year, so it was old-time hockey, I guess.
Oh my gosh! So wait a minute. So in Canada at the time, how old did you have to be to drive a car?
16.
Okay, so you were in high school years before you would even be able to drive a car.
Yeah, I was 12. Yeah.
Oh my!
I know that. Yeah, it was, but it worked out fine.
I'll say.
I'm with Draymond, and I'm arguing with him about something, and of course he's arguing back, and I said, "Hey, I don't have time for your, whatever." And once in a while, if I get really mad to make a point, I'll break the clipboard over my knee. So I break a clipboard over my knee, and then it kind of calms down. They know I'm serious, and we go. So my managers always carry a few extra clipboards. So we're arguing, Draymond and I go to break that clipboard. I go, and the clipboard didn't break. And I'm looking around, and I can see guys smirking, but they know I'm really mad. So I grab it again. Boom! It didn't break. Draymond goes, "Hey, coach, you better get in the weight room." Everybody cracked up. We went on to win the game, and I find out after my managers had changed over from those hard cardboard ones to fiberglass ones. So now when I want to break a clipboard, man, it's a lot of work. So Draymond kind of started that era, made a joke about it. Players still talk about it to this day.
Did you get to hang out with the young Shaq? Like, did you get it?
Shaq almost got me kicked out, or he'll tell you that I almost got him kicked out the McDonald's game because we was doing some stuff we shouldn't. Because back then it was at Kemper Arena in Kansas City. We ended up going to a Tony Tone concert while we were there, and shenanigans, messing around in the hotel, having people there we shouldn't have, and all this. Almost got kicked out of the McDonald's game, doing teenage dumb stuff.
Yeah,
but we reflect back on that when we see each other a lot and laugh about it.
By the way, there are already like 4 times that I want to follow up on stuff that I'm not going to for both of our sake.
I got you, best friend. I got you.
Sometimes it's smart to just move on to the next topic. You owe me, Jimmer. Now, as that clip showed, we wanted to show you the personality of some of these people in a way that podcasts can, and often a short, polished television moment cannot. Our next section of this best of episode is all about that. It's just some good old-fashioned, totally random, fun moments. You'll hear from Joel Klatt, Sebastian Rivera, Brenda Frese, Bret Bielema, and Sandy Barber. But we start when I brought in Taylor Rooks of Turner Sports and Bleacher Report, who's a longtime friend from when she used to work with us here at the Big Ten Network. And I played a game with her she was not prepared for. This game is called Taylor Texts, True or False.
Okay.
I'm going to read you something, and you'll tell me which of the things are actual text messages Taylor Rooks sent to me and which ones I made up.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, ready? Here's one. Carrot cake is healthy because it's carrots.
I definitely said that.
You definitely said
I
that.
definitely said that because I actually like kind of believe that. Like I don't even know if I think that was a joke. Like, I kind of believe it. So I know that was me. Let me put it this way. Carrot cake is healthier than vanilla cake. Like, I mean, so it's kind of true. It's kind of true.
It's hard to believe you don't have a medical degree.
I don't know how.
Number 2, when you were out sick one day, quote, sometimes you're so cool, you get a cold.
I can picture myself saying that. However, I don't think I did.
You definitely did. Absolutely sent it. I have the proof.
When did I say that?
Back in like 2016, it was
Oh,
like,
that is, my humor has evolved since then. I would have made the cool joke even better. So I just didn't even know that comedian, but that was funny. Okay, I said that.
One more.
This is so funny. Okay.
quote, I gave up on the journey of finding a Mike Hall in New York. I'd even settle for a Mike Lobby.
Said that for sure.
You did say that.
I love that so much. Oh my gosh, me and you are really corny.
Give me your best Gus impression.
Oh, I would never. I can't do a Gus. I can't do a Gus impression. I'll give you a couple of stories though.
Okay.
I can't do it justice, right? Like he goes to a different level, you got barbecue back there? He goes to a different level.
We always love in the BTN green room when he'll read the Reese's promos, because you'll just hear us walk in the hallways going, peanut butter and chocolate.
And chocolate. Or how about when he'll go to break and he's really good at timing, so the producer's counting in your ear and he likes to take it all the way to 0. Some guys will just give their outro and then the music will play, but he likes to milk it to 0. And so he'll be like, the up 21-3 on FOX. And I'm just like, oh, it's just like dripping, So Gus does that really well.
You're Seabass.
I got the tattoo to prove it.
You do? Can we see it?
I gotta take my arm out.
All right, so for everyone listening, he's got a Rutgers shirt on. It's a bicep, and it's just a beautiful fish.
Beautiful sea bass.
When'd you get that?
The beginning of last season. Yeah, so I've had it for a while now. A lot of people like it too, so I haven't really gotten any bad comments on it, so that's a good thing.
Your sister, who used to be a sportscaster, is that the one who looks an awful lot like you, or is that the other one?
It is. Yeah. So she's back in coaching again, and we're mistaken sometimes for twins, but she definitely had gotten me to understand that early.
I have my aunt and my mom have always looked similar. And by the time I was like 4, they just said, forget it. Yep, I'm her. And would like take phone calls and take messages from other people and switch it around. Did you guys do that when you were younger? Like pull the old Parent Trap switcheroo?
Well, it's funny, today I woke up to a text message from someone who was sharing that they had pared down their list and they accidentally had my sister on the same text thread. The coach did. He got us mixed up, which was pretty funny. But my best story is the year when we won the national championship that she was obviously at the game and in the stands, and she went up to go use the restroom and go to the concession stand, and everyone kept saying, good luck, coach, and good luck the second half. Like I was around the concourse just getting some popcorn and going to use the restroom. So I love those times, even recruiting, when they think I'm sitting in a gym and it's her, I can get some extra, double bang out of it,
Right.
So we definitely take advantage. Now she just kind of goes with it. She knows not to correct.
I like the idea of someone being like, boy, Brenda's really relaxed. I mean, she's not down in the locker room. She's up here getting popcorn. Wow.
Yep. Just getting a Coke and some popcorn, in that game against Duke.
This shows, in terms of being dated, how long it was since I had this note. But does Brett still have a talking Napoleon Dynamite doll in his office?
I'm sure, like my wife and I started laughing because we've moved a couple times since Wisconsin, and every time we keep moving some of those boxes. And I know that Napoleon Dynamite is buried somewhere in there. When we made the move this last time to New York, I was going through some boxes and found some different replica items of the past. And I did see a Napoleon Dynamite, the little statue where he pushed it, and it had like 4 or 5 quotes, and I can't remember the exact ones around there, but I do remember a couple of those one-liners, and it does exist.
Now, Sandy, this thing is from 1742, I believe. This is
Mike, it's not a thing. It is a lion.
Okay.
It is the Nittany Lion. Please approach the Nittany Lion with the proper reverence.
Now, I clearly do not want to be disrespectful, but are you
Then
sure?
don't be.
Are you sure it's not just a rug? I mean, that thing is. I think it's seen better days. Is all I'm getting at, and I feel like I wonder if that. I feel like that thing has lived a good life, Sandy. That's all I'm getting at.
I don't accept your premise. Mike, the first of all, let me repeat myself. The Nittany Lion is not a thing.
Okay.
The Nittany Lion is a lion. The Nittany Lion, and I'll tell you what, by Penn State standards, I've only been at Penn State a very short period of time, those 6 years. In my 6 years, we had the best Nittany Lion mascot that we've had in my time this last year. And I mean, it's all in that character and in his soul and the way he moves and the way he wears the rug.
The rug.
It's not a rug.
Okay.
It's the lion costume.
The Penn State athletic director came rather close to beating me up, didn't she? And she could have. Unintentionally, a lot of the conversations this season turned in the direction of food. In hindsight, that's not surprising since we've all been in lockdown for a year plus, so it's not like we all haven't had plenty of time to talk and think about and eat food. So, you'll hear about different dining topics in the next section from Dana Rettke, Jerry DiNardo, Tom Izzo, Sebastian Rivera, Bret Bielema, Taylor Rooks, the Sklar brothers, and Joel Klatt. And we start off with Maryland's football coach Mike Locksley on what happens when he's at home and he's in charge of preparing a meal.
I'm a griller. I wouldn't say I'm a cook. I'm one of those guys that I like to have people over. I'm an entertainer, and I will put stuff on the grill, but I promise you very few times are there veggies. My wife's out of town, and any of the fellas, the group that I kind of hang out with, when they come over, they know it's a meat party, meaning very few veggies. And so if you're coming over here looking for a salad, looking for asparagus, if my wife's not here, not many sides go with my grill.
I'm the chef in my house. My go-to, honestly, for cooking is I can make, my roommates love when I either make turkey burgers or chicken piccata or salmon.
Okay.
Also just gotten into lasagna too. So yeah, I would make some type of protein with some veggies, probably some potatoes or something.
Good.
Yeah.
I'll be over tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'll be there.
And then we'll have some Greenwood donuts for dessert.
Yes. Oh my gosh, they're so good.
I love the stories about sitting around the table and you better have a really good reason not to be home for Sunday dinner and all that kind of stuff. So it started with family, but then, I got this from my mother and we were, I don't know how to say it, we were very Italian, but yet my mom loved all kinds of food. And so I'm the same way. I mean, I not only I made jambalaya last night. I mean, my time in the South really influenced my like of food in my cooking. But yeah, I can go on forever. Yeah, I'm passionate about it. I love it. I love to cook.
Give me the food that you love to eat that everyone else thinks is weird.
I don't know what everybody thinks, but I'm a pasty guy. I love pasties. In the UP, a pasty is, you know, and everybody down here calls them pasties. You know? But you know what they are is they're just a crust filled with whatever you want to put in them. You know, miners used to take them down. You could eat them warm or cold. A lot of people don't know of them or don't eat them. But I'm kind of a plain Jane guy for the most part, you know. But pasties is something that I guess is different for me.
I got to say, I was very confused for a second because first I thought you were thinking pasty like a pasta and it was a different way to say it. And you were like going to mess with me on an Italian way I'm saying it. And then I was like, pasties has another meaning. And I thought, is that really what you're eating? But okay, we came brought it home.
Next time you come over our way, I'm going to get you one.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. The food that you love to eat that everyone else thinks is just weird or gross.
Clams, probably.
Yeah?
A lot of people don't think clams are gross, but I love seafood. Seafood's one of my favorites.
Are you allowed to have clams when you're?
They're pretty. I don't like go out of my way to make them and stuff. It's a long process, but I mean, I don't think they're that bad for me. The butter may be, but I'll just eat a clam. That's not bad.
It's worth it. It's worth it. Favorite food?
Look at my size. I got a couple. You want to narrow it to one? I would tell you this. You know, I'm still a guy that really enjoys little red meat. So I'd say a well done, not well done. I like it medium rare, but a nice steak done the appropriate way. It still brings a smile.
You've lived in New York. You've lived in Chicago. Settle the pizza debate.
Okay. I love them both. Like, I feel like that's like a bad thing to say, but I do genuinely love both styles. It depends on my mood, but I think I really, 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 really miss like Giordano's. So I think I'm gonna go Chicago pizza. Because at this point, if I'm gonna eat pizza, it's gonna be to really indulge. And like that deep dish is like, it's some serious business. So I'm
know your audience, girl. Pizza. Well done. Yeah. Well done.
So we went with Jimmy and Mike to Zingerman's, and we got Mike a potato latke. He had never eaten a latke in his life. And watching him eat a potato latke
at
Zingerman's with the sour cream, with the applesauce, one of the joys in life. The fact that we could introduce to Mike Hart, the greatest running back perhaps in Michigan history, it's an argument can be made, Jewish food, just it warmed our hearts, and it was an amazing moment.
Last story real quickly, and this one is a little borderline, but it'll be all right. So there were a few of us because of our $620, and we tried to eat at Olive Garden and everything, and we ran out of money, you know, and there was a couple days left in the month, and we're like, well, how are we going to eat? And so the clubhouse manager, he's like, I tell you what, just wait an hour until after the game, you know, after everyone leaves, come back. I'm always in here doing laundry, doing stuff like that. I've got the keys to the stadium. We're like, great, this is perfect. We're hungry. So we come back to the stadium, and he opens up the concession stand, and we start eating the red vines and the nachos. We couldn't get the grill started, so we didn't have like any of the hot dogs or burgers or anything, but we're like eating everything else, the chips, the candy, the, you know, like red vines, nachos, everything that we can. We're drinking Sam Adams beer, right? Like, we're like, man, this is high class stuff here. We did it for like 4 nights at the end of the month. And the owner of the team, who basically operates the stadium, and then the big league organization operates us, the owner of the team figures it out and is livid. He's like, someone's stealing from the concession stand. What is happening? So he pulls the team. Mind you, 20 of the 28 guys were native Spanish-speaking guys. So here's the owner of the team berating a group of, you know, guys that don't even speak English, and the 8 of us that do speak English, berating us about like, if I don't find out who's been stealing from our concession stand, you know, I'm going to withhold your paychecks. I'll call the organization. You won't get paid. This isn't, you know, an aberration, blah, blah, blah. And I could not stop from like smiling like I am right now, like basically laughing. And I'm looking at the guys that were in the clubhouse managers behind the owner, and I'm about to burst into laughter. So I stand up, you know, and the guys who were with me are like, oh my gosh, is he going to confess? Like, we're going to lose our paycheck the next month. And I turn my back to the owner and I face the team and I just go, Come on, guys. Somebody fess up to this. Who's been stealing brother concessions?
Joel Klatt, concession thief. It's going to bring down his career. It's gonna. Now, we ended each episode with a bit called Before You Go, which was 4 questions totally unrelated to anything. Our potpourri segment, if you will. You'll hear from Jerry DiNardo, Sean McDonough, Fran McCaffrey, Brenda Fries, PJ Fleck, Gene Katie, Taylor Rooks, Mike Loxley, Sebastian Rivera, Joel Klatt, and Jim Jackson. But up first, a highlight from the Penn State Athletic Director, Sandy Barber, with an incredible answer I would never, ever had assumed I'd hear from her. Number 1, first concert you ever went to?
Rolling Stones, Brussels, Belgium.
Wait, not just the Stones, but in Belgium?
I lived there. I was living there, yeah.
When?
Like 73, 74, something like that. Yeah. My dad was career Navy, and we were stationed in Brussels.
Oh my God. What was that? Do you remember much of the concert?
Yes, I do. I started to go in a different direction, but I decided not to. Yeah. It was.
How did you propose to your wife, Terry?
Okay. Can I tell?
Do a good start.
Can I tell how we got married instead?
Okay.
That's much more interesting.
Okay.
All right. So I'm coaching in Colorado. She's a trainer in Colorado. We're in double sessions. We're both very busy. We got married in between practices.
You guys are insane.
And it was past the van. Terry and we had no witnesses, so I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, that we're totally married. Pastor Van said, "Do you have any witnesses?" And I said, "Well, there's a couple of guys in the parking lot, but we're on a tight schedule." That's a true story, Mike. So I don't remember the proposal.
Have you ever accidentally sworn on air?
Yes. And Dwight Evans was on it, even though Dwight Evans played for the Red Sox, and I was doing the Red Sox game at the time. I was doing a Red Sox game on ESPN with Ray Knight.
Okay.
And Dwight Evans came to the plate, and he had 2,299 career hits. So I wanted to say, here's Dwight Evans. He's 1 hit shy of 2,300. And instead it came out that he was 1 something high of 2,300. One, yeah. I said,
that's perfect. All right, number 4. He's 1 poop shy. Give me the recruit you almost had but didn't get that you still think about.
Jimmer Fredette, probably. Jimmer Fredette. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, when would that have been?
Whoa, that would have been. I was at Siena 2004, I guess. Ooh. Yeah, Jimmer Fredette. I mean, there's been a lot. I mean, Tyler Eulis. Yeah. Of course, we got his brother.
Right. Yeah.
He was. 2 years later, he's the SEC Player of the Year. Kobe. He's a game changer. If Kobe comes, that's probably 10 wins.
Who were on the posters when you were growing up on your wall?
Oh, great question. Man, one of the big ones was, Jennifer Azzi. Man, like I couldn't get enough of her and Stanford and, the success that they had. And yeah, definitely Jennifer Azzi.
I was thinking more like, would there be a Michael Jackson or something, or like a singer, and you're like, no.
All basketball, man. I was
Stanford.
Straight up basketball.
Your favorite band or favorite singer?
Oh my gosh. Well, John Legend's nephew plays for us, Michael Brown Stevens. So I'm going to have to go with John Legend for my wife. That is her ultimate favorite. The first gift I ever got her when we got to Minnesota was a first row seat middle to John Legend right here at the University of Minnesota's campus. That was the first thing I ever bought her when I got her. I said, okay, well, she just moved from her home state to here. I better do something good. And John Legend was coming, and that was it.
Right.
And she said, I felt like he was singing just to me.
He was.
And that's what I told her. He was.
She saw those tickets and she was like, Sky Yuma.
Yeah. And then I figured out, I Googled, hey, who's John Legend's nephew? Does he have anybody in football? Oh, there he is. I'm going to offer that guy. No, I'm kidding. No. Michael's a very good player, and we got a bright future with that young man.
In the history of the Big Ten, has anyone ever had better hair than Gene Katie?
No.
That's the correct answer. I'm going to force you to brag here. Give me the coolest phone number you have in your cell.
Oh, coolest number. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I guess Drake.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like I'm seeing if there's a better one. No, that's probably the coolest. Snoop, as you talked about, who was on the pod.
Yeah.
But that's probably who I'd say. Yeah.
That's good. He's mine too. Describe to me the Mike Locksley fashion sense.
Man, I'd say I'm a jeans and a t-shirt kind of guy. I can clean up pretty good, and it looks like white walls on a trash truck when I clean up. But I like the jeans with a button down and some tennis shoes, casual, kind of comfy big boy look.
Did you say when you dress up, it's white walls on a trash truck?
That's what I look like when I dress up. White walls on a trash truck, man.
In your dad's prime versus you right now, who wins?
Me.
Really?
For sure.
You sure?
100%.
How would he answer that question?
Me.
You sure?
Yeah, I know for sure.
How come? How can you be so sure?
I'm version 2.0. He's 1.0. You know, I'm the upgraded version.
Your best hidden talent away from sports.
So golf doesn't.
No. Which, by the way, before you answer that, you have a handicap of 1.
No, I don't. It's actually a +2. Sorry.
So, just to be
I'm
clear.
sorry. Listen, I was trying not to be like a jerk about that. But,
no, I just for the record, you're a great golfer. You set records at Colorado at quarterback, and you were a minor league. Oh my God, yeah, he's showing me his app. +2 handicap. You are a widely respected national sportscaster. You played in the NBA for years. You're a legend in college basketball. For the world to hear, simply put, Jim Jackson, out of everyone you've met in your life, who's your best friend?
My best friend or my best friend? Which one is it?
The best friend. Your best friend.
My best friend is Mike Hall.
You heard it. Best friend. Fact. Inarguable. So with that, we end our best of episode, and we end our first season of On the Bench with Mike Hall. I hope you enjoyed it. I really did. If you did like it, I'll give you the standard podcast. Please tell a friend about it. Give a like, post a review, all that good stuff. I'd sure appreciate it. I also appreciate the hard work done behind the scenes by Ross Patton, our producer. He worked his butt off to help do all the little things to make this podcast get on the air, and I truly value him and his work this year. As well as all the work our entire team did in audio, social media, logistics, technical thingamajigs that I don't know anything about, but they all contributed to getting this on the air, so to speak, and making it look and sound professional. We have a good crew here. With that, I say thanks one more time to them and to you for listening. From the Big Ten Network in Chicago, I'm Mike Hall. We'll see you next season.